On today's video, I'm going to be making a wood pile in the back of my garden. One of the first things I did when I started creating the wildlife area in my garden was to create a dead wood pile. Unfortunately, I didn't actually know what I was doing and I've used the wrong type of wood. You see, wood piles are great habitat for beetles and other insects that feed on the dead wood, and they also provide an excellent habitat for mosses and fungi and things like that. But unfortunately, this particular wood I used is offcuts from a buddleia bush that I cut down. And a buddleia is not a UK native plant, so there aren't any insects that have evolved to feed on the wood. So this is pretty much useless. Or is it? I think I might have a use for this. But the first thing we'll need to do is clear out this space and get in some proper wood. Luckily, I know where a tree has been cut down, so we can do a little bit of log chopping and we'll get a decent pile of wood in here. Welcome to year 3 of the Wildlife Garden Project. The first thing to do is to cut back the overgrown buddleia bushes to give myself some space to work in. These will grow back very quickly and provide some really great flowers for the butterflies and other pollinators. Once that's done, I need to move all the old offcuts of buddleia bush I piled up here in year 1. We'll save these for later. Okay, now I've chopped the logs, let's get them piled up. I've used oak wood, but ash, beech and birch are good too. Having a log pile in full sun will dry and heat the logs and provide a great habitat for insects, and in turn the creatures that feed on them. In a more shady spot like this one will be good for fungi, but may be too cold for insects. We'll have to see how it goes. Leave the wood in fairly large pieces and leave in direct contact with the ground. You could even partially bury some pieces if you like. So what about all these sticks we've got here? What are we going to do with those? Well, I've got a plan for these, and that involves this fence back here. So if you've seen any of the previous year's videos of the Wildlife Garden Project, you may remember that in this area of the garden there was a large hedge. Now that was used by nesting blackbirds and gave a lot of cover to the other visiting birds in here, and as they were waiting to dart out to the bird feeders just over there. Unfortunately, it was cut down. It wasn't my hedge, but it was replaced by this fence here. So we need to replace some of the cover and vegetation that was here, and we need to make it look a lot nicer. So what I thought I would do is take the offcuts from the buddleia and stick them in the ground and kind of make a makeshift trellis, kind of a natural looking trellis, and plant some climbing plants in the ground here, which is left kind of pretty much bare. So what I think I need to do is dig out some of this ground and get these stuck into the ground and kind of make it look a little bit interesting along this area, ready for flowers and things that we can attract the butterflies and birds to. So yeah, let's get on with that. So it does seem like it's going to rain any moment, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to get filmed because my camera can't get wet, so I might have to just bring you back once it's all done.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So sometimes life gets in the way, and I didn't get any gardening done for a few weeks, as you'll be able to tell by how much I need a haircut in the next clip. But my original intention was to dig out all along the fence, but in this time quite a few plants have begun to grow, and some of them I think will look quite nice. Well, let's take a closer look at a few of them. There's several plants growing here, some of which I'm not sure about, but the main plant growing here is purple toadflax. This grows into a lovely purple flower that is very popular with pollinators. We also have some bluebells. This is a Spanish bluebell. They were introduced to the UK by the Victorians as a garden plant, but have since spread and they hybridise with the UK native bluebells, which are sadly becoming rarer. One of my favourite flowers in bloom right now are these forget-me-nots. Well, the time is almost over for these grape hyacinths, but there's still quite a few dotted around the garden. These are red dead nettles. Despite the name and appearance, they are related to stingy nettles, but these don't sting. Ow! I'm kidding, they don't sting. So having decided against digging out the entire way along the fence, I instead opted to dig out one fence panel's worth of ground. I only have a couple of plants to put here at the moment anyway. So after digging out the ground, I embed some of the offcuts of buddleia we had earlier and stand them against the fence to create a natural looking trellis. I used a couple more bits of buddleia branches to create this border around the bed. but I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm not convinced it will last, but it will do for now. So the first plant I'm going to plant here is this fuchsia. Now this isn't a UK native plant, but it is very popular with pollinators. The flowers are lovely, and it's also a food plant for some of the UK caterpillars here, namely the elephant hawk moth. So I'm more than happy to encourage those in my garden. So this is the first one we're going to plant in. We're going to dig a hole in here, get it planted in the ground, and I've got one more plant which will be a honeysuckle, which I'll plant just over the other side there. So the honeysuckle is a climbing plant, so I think I'm going to put it in the middle here where there is most of the sort of trellises that we put up to enable it to climb and weave its way around here to get the best start. Now the honeysuckle is very popular, the flowers are very popular with various hawk moths, so we're going to have a plant for the flowers for the adults and a plant for the caterpillar food. So hopefully this area will be a good kind of attraction place for the various hawk moths that will like these two plants. This blackbird was very appreciative of my work and was very interested in taking a closer look. I don't think he was admiring my planting skills though. All the loose ground provided easy access to some juicy worms. So a fuchsia, a honeysuckle, a homemade trellis and a log pile. It's not much, but it's a start. So join me next time on the Wildlife Garden Project and we'll see what other fun things we can do to encourage wildlife to appear in our gardens. And I'll see you then. Goodbye.